Teofimo Lopez beats Josh Taylor at Madison Square Garden, New York, last night. I set my alarm for 3 a.m. I think the ring off was 4 a.m. UK time. That's what time it was. So I set my alarm at 3 a.m. to make sure I got up and I didn't miss it. Everyone knows my sort of relationship with Josh, my good friend. He's a good friend of mine. I trained alongside him at Lock End Boxing Club as when he was a young amateur. I think he just got to the GB squad. He was coming off the silver medal in the Commonwealth Games in Delhi in 2010. I saw him win Scottish titles as a youngster. I seen him go to the Olympics. I seen him win the gold at Commonwealth Games. I was at every single one of his title fights. Only 2 title fights I've not been at are the Jack Carroll fight and the fight last night. So to say the least that I'm gutted is an understatement, because I am gutted for him, because I know how much hard work he puts into it. But it's boxing. You win some, you lose some. So taking nothing away from Teofimo Lopez. I think Josh started well. I think he was winning maybe the first couple of rounds, 3-4 rounds. And then sort of like the mid rounds, he started to slow down, and Teo started getting into his rhythm, started showboating. And once you let Teo get into his rhythm and start to showboat a little bit and start to enjoy himself, it's hard to get that back in that. And he done well. We landed some clean shots from Josh. But I think Josh's days at 140 are done. It's all right making the weight comfortable. Like, I know he made the weight well last night, but it's making the weight comfortably and looking good, but then carrying that into the fight night that hasn't taken anything from you. And I think the last two fights, you could see that his legs weren't there. If you need to look at the Prograis fight, look at the Branchek fight, look at the Postal fight, he's got that Taekwondo background. He started boxing at 16, 17. You can see he's in, rapid hands, out, using his footwork. Last two fights, he's sort of been a wee bit laboured in his legs, and maybe that is the weight cut. I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything on Josh, but just as an observer looking in from the outside, I think maybe the weight cuts took his legs from him a little bit. His bouncy rhythm isn't there as much. So I think a move up to 147 is the next ideal move for Josh. I mean, I still feel that he's not getting the respect that he deserves in the world of boxing for what he's done. World champion in 15 professional fights, unified champion in 16 fights, and then undisputed in 18 fights. Say what you want. I mean, how many British fighters have done that quick succession? How many British fighters have become a unified world champion in 16 fights? Not many. How many of them done it in 18 fights? None. So I still think he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, but I think that up at 147 he's going to be a lot stronger. His legs will be there, and I think we'll see the old Josh Taylor in terms of his footwork, his hand speed, his strength will be there in his legs, and become a 2-weight world champion. I firmly believe that. I think he will. I think 147 pounder, even though it's a dangerous division to be in with the young guys in there like Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis. Then you've got the old guard in Spence and Crawford. They're going to fight each other end of July for the undisputed. Whoever wins that, I believe that they may vacate all the belts and move up and maybe give a slot for Josh to fight for one of them if he gets a quick fight at 147. And that being said, you can't take nothing away from Teofimo Lopez. Great fight for Teo. I think Josh won the early rounds, like I said. Then Teo started getting into his rhythm, started bouncing on his foot, started showboating a little bit. Once you let Teo get his rhythm and get into the fight a little bit and enjoy himself, it's hard to sort of pin him down and land some clean shots. And I think that's what happened last night. But listen, Josh didn't make any excuses last night. He said the 16-month layoff was an excuse. The weight was an excuse. So fair play to Josh. But I think a 16-month layoff is hard to come in, especially at an elite level against somebody like Teofimo Lopez. But Josh never made any excuses, so fair play to him. But the good thing as well is I think that the pressure's off Josh now. In Scotland, we get we don't get nothing up here. There's no promoters, no managers. Nobody want to take an opportunity on our fighters. Like, I'll just say, like, Sean Lazzarini was a light heavyweight Commonwealth champion this year, won the gold medal. But the two guys that won the silver and the bronze, they've turned pro. I think one's turned pro, one's turning pro. They've been signed, sealed, and delivered almost. While Sean, who won the gold, didn't get any big promoters coming from or anything like that. So is there a bias towards Scotland or the Scottish fighters? I don't know. I don't know, but we see it time and time again. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist and say there is, but who knows? But what I will say is the pressure's off Josh now. He's had that loss. If he goes up to 147, he's now the challenger and he's chasing somebody. He's back being hungry and chasing somebody. Sometimes when you're at the top, you've got nothing to chase. And I think that a hungry, strong, extra 7 pounds, extra half a stone on Josh will do him fantastic. And I think a 2-weight world champion is the next goal. When you've won all the belts, you've won the Ring magazine, you've got all 4 governing body belts in one division. The next logical step is maybe go up weight and do it again in a different weight. Even if he just wins one title, it's still an achievement, especially for a Scottish fighter, to achieve something so good and so well. Because we've had I think the UK's had 3 undisputed champions, and 2 of them have been from Scotland, Ken Buchanan and Josh Taylor. So we might only have a couple of fighters breaking through in that world stage every sort of generation, but when we do it well. That's the least I can say about it. But fair play to Teofimo Lopez. A lot of guys wrote him off after the Sandor Martin fight, and I've seen a couple of the media guys switching their stance quite quickly on Teo, basically saying, I can remember them saying something along the lines of that he was finished, doesn't look good at 140, 140 might be too heavy for him. And then last night in the same breath, the same guys saying Teo looks special, Teo's this and Teo's that and Teo. So it is like what have you done for me lately type of sport. But take nothing away from Teo. Fantastic fight. He boxed well, and Josh Taylor will come again. Trust me. People are writing him off all the time, and he comes back and does it. One thing about Josh is he hates losing. He trust me, he hates losing. I think he nearly launched his silver medal from the Commonwealth Games away because it wasn't a gold. So the kid's got that desire. Josh has the heart to go on, bite down on that gum shield and go again. And I think he will enjoy some time off, get back in the gym and make an assault at 147. And I think even though it's a hard division, like I said to you, Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Spence Crawford, but I don't think Spence Crawford will be there after they fight. I think both of them might even move up. I think Spence might even move up to light middleweight if he wins. And I know that Spence struggles to make 147, so he might move up after this as well, win, lose or draw. So, yeah, good fight last night, but I think Josh will come again. I think the right move for Josh is moving up to 147. And I think maybe it was one too many fights at 140. Not making an excuse for him. He lost, right? And I still haven't seen the Jack Catterall fight, so I know he struggled in that fight as well. He openly admitted himself that he struggled. So listen, great fight last night, and I'm a biased Scotsman when it comes to boxing, and what can you do? That's just me. But listen, let me know what you think. All right, Josh Taylor up at 147. Do you think that he can become a 2-weight world champion? You know what to do. Leave a comment. Let me know.